She thought she was protecting her community, but within minutes, her assumptions would be shattered in front of a crowd. When the boy's real mother stepped out of the car, what followed silenced the entire parking lot. Watch till the end for the moment that broke the internet, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping real-life stories that challenge everything you think you know. Asterisk. It was supposed to be just another quick grocery run on a bright Saturday afternoon. In suburban Georgia, where the air buzzed with the hum of distant lawnmowers, idle chit-chat, and rolling shopping carts. But beneath the pleasant routine of the day, a storm was quietly brewing in a supermarket parking lot that would leave a town and the internet speechless. 17-year-old Elijah Carter, a tall, lanky black teen wearing a faded red hoodie and earbuds, was leaning casually against his mom's silver SUV while scrolling on his phone and waiting for her to pick up diapers and almond milk, oblivious to the suspicious stares coming from across the lot, especially the piercing eyes of Marlene Whitaker, a 53-year-old white woman known in the community for her obsessive neighborhood watch habits, who had parked 2 spaces over in her beige Toyota, and was now convinced she was witnessing a crime in progress. She watched Elijah for nearly 5 minutes, biting her lip, her heart racing, every stereotype and prejudice she had ever absorbed boiling to the surface as she whispered to herself, "This doesn't look right," before grabbing her phone and dialing 911, telling the dispatcher in a tense voice that a young black male appeared to be breaking into a car and that he looked nervous and aggressive. Though in reality Elijah hadn't moved an inch, still bobbing his head to a lo-fi beat, unaware that his every breath was being documented like a criminal's. By the time 2 squad cars screeched into the parking lot 10 minutes later, Marlene was standing outside her car pointing frantically at Elijah, who looked up confused as officers jumped out, guns at their sides, shouting commands, "Put your hands where we can see them," causing Elijah to drop his phone in shock and raise his arms as people around the parking lot turned to stare, some pulling out their phones to record, sensing something was off. Elijah, shaking in near tears, tried to explain that he wasn't stealing anything, that it was his mother's car, but the officers kept him pinned near the SUV, demanding ID he didn't have on him while Marlene stood nearby, arms crossed, smugly, until a voice sliced through the tension like a blade. "Get your hands off my son," and all heads turned to see Dr. Renee Carter, a well-dressed black woman in a sleek pantsuit, storming across the lot with a grocery bag in one hand and fire in her eyes. The moment froze. Marlene blinked in confusion, her mouth half open. The officers hesitated as Renee whipped out her ID and car registration with precision and fury, demanding an explanation while Elijah, nearly hyperventilating, ran to her and hugged her tightly, trembling in her arms. One officer stammered an apology while the other mumbled about a report of suspicious behavior. But Renee was already speaking loud enough for the growing crowd to hear. Her voice calm but slicing, "My son was waiting for me in OUR car. And because of your bias," she pointed directly at Marlene, "he was treated like a criminal. Do you understand how dangerous that is?" And for the first time, Marlene looked rattled, stammering something about just trying to help. But a bystander shouted back, "Help! Who? Yourself or your fear?" And suddenly, the tide turned. The phones kept recording as Renee demanded badge numbers. Witnesses stepped forward, offering their videos and statements. And within hours, the footage had gone viral on TikTok and Instagram, under the hashtag parking lot profiling, sparking outrage, debate, and national coverage. But the story didn't end there, because what no one knew yet was that Marlene had a teenage daughter, adopted from Ethiopia, whom she had largely kept hidden from public view, and the hypocrisy ignited a second firestorm online. When a former neighbor anonymously leaked a year-old photo of the two together at a church event, exposing Marlene's performative allyship and igniting calls for deeper investigations into how systemic bias can persist even within seemingly woke individuals. Meanwhile, Elijah and his mother were invited to speak on national TV, where Elijah, still shaken but composed, told the world he no longer felt safe simply existing in public, and that being black shouldn't be a threat, while Renee launched a nonprofit dedicated to anti-racism training in law enforcement and communities. her speech at the town hall going viral for its haunting closing line. My son could have been another headline, another name mourned and forgotten but today. We choose to fight for those who didn't get to walk away. Back in the quiet cul-de-sac where Marlene lived, lawn signs began to appear one by one, reading, "We see you, Elijah," and "Bias has no home here." And by the end of the month, Marlene had resigned from the HOA board, her reputation in tatters, her daughter reportedly sent to live with her father out of state. While Renee continued her mission, standing tall not just as a mother, but as a force of reckoning in a community forced to look in the mirror. And though Elijah struggled with nightmares for weeks, therapy and support helped him find a new confidence. Eventually speaking at his school assembly, where he ended with a truth no one could deny, "I'm not what they feared I'm, what they needed to see." And with that, the crowd stood and clapped. Not just for him, but for the reckoning that began with one ugly moment and became a movement too loud to ignore. Because sometimes the story isn't just about what was done, but about who had the courage to stand, to speak, and to turn silence into justice. Would you like an SEO and YouTube viral optimization package for this story as well?